There's one specific neighborhood in San Francisco that is set to have one of the biggest comebacks that the city has ever seen, and you're never going to guess which one it is. From new developments to billion-dollar revitalization projects, I'm going to take you through downtown, and you can tell me if it's as bad as the media portrays. In a few minutes, I'll also share with you what it costs to live there to a place that you could actually walk to work. I'm going to show you a few hidden gems. I'm also gonna get you a sneak peek into a Google office. So if you've ever wondered what all this hype is about in these tech companies, now's your chance to check it out. If you're new to the channel and you want to learn more about what it's like to live in San Francisco, we publish a new video every single Monday at 5 p.m. A lot of times when people think about downtown, they think about Union Square, which is where I'm standing. When I moved here over 20 years ago, one of the first places I wanted to go was Union Square. I think when people think about downtown, they think about it as shopping, skyscrapers, and that sort of thing. But I will tell you, for purposes of this video, downtown we are going to define as Union Square, the financial district, a little bit of Yerba Buena, East Cut, and South of Market. When you look at the realtor map, it actually goes all the way down almost just west of Van Ness. And in a minute, I'm gonna show you a street that you probably maybe haven't heard of before, but you definitely don't wanna miss. One of my favorite times down here is Christmas time, and they actually put an ice rink right here during Christmas, and it's a really cool festive time down here. There's a tree that they put up, it's all kinds of holiday lights, and I'll be honest, San Francisco isn't the most festive place whenever it comes to Christmas. Like, I don't know why, it's just not. So I love to come down here if you can't get away and like go up to Tahoe where it's snowy and feels a little bit more like Christmas. This is a nice place to come. I brought my kids down here last year and I thought we were gonna go ice skating, but I'll be honest, I'm not the mom that is always on top of booking things on time, and I like to be a little more sporadic because a lot of times I don't really know what's going on with my work schedule. So anyway, we came down, we were gonna go ice skating, and they were sold out. And I will say that's kind of a common experience in San Francisco, and one of the things that I don't love about living here. I feel like a lot of the cool things are very, very busy. It's, you know, it's a congested town in terms of there's just, everybody wants to do the cool stuff, right? So I got down here and they're like, oh, you had to book in advance. And so, though, one of the other cool things about being in a city is there's always stuff to do, right? So we walked over to Chinatown, we got some dinner, and then we ended up going we stumbled upon an escape room and we did that. So we actually had a great weekend down here, and oh my gosh, we ran into, with my kids, they make fun of the channel because they say it's not popular or big enough unless you have like 100 million subscribers or something like Mr. Beast. And we ran into somebody who recognized me from YouTube. So that was hilarious because they were just almost like devastated. Anyway, it was super cute. Union Square has definitely made the news lately. And one of the reasons why is Macy's, which lines this whole section of this plaza, announced that it's gonna close its flagship store, which honestly like really makes Union Square. And this shocked a lot of people. I think that, you know, one thing that maybe is missed in all of this is that Macy's is actually closing over 100 stores nationwide. And, you know, though there could be something to like people stealing and different things like that, which is a whole separate issue, maybe a video for another time. The reality is that if we don't all go and shop in stores in person, stores cannot stay open. So I've been trying to do a little bit better because I'm guilty. Like I love to shop from the convenience of my sofa, but if we want the stores to be there when we want to go into them, we actually need to step foot in them in order for them to exist. San Francisco has always been somewhat of a boom and bust town, and we're hoping that we're coming back into the boom part. I think AI is actually going to shepherd us into this. But as far as downtown goes, the mayor is putting a lot of emphasis into revitalization projects. Also, there's been a lot of side projects where local organizations and foundations have raised money for some entertainment nights down here as well. So I'll be interested to see how those turn out. We are all super excited to see downtown get back on its feet. Now let's head over to Maiden Lane, which is the street that I was telling you that you didn't want to miss. Okay, so we're just crossing over from Maiden Lane, and this is really just right off of the strip. So how cute is this? It looks like somebody is doing a little filming down here. I've got Tory Burch off here to my right, and then I've got Gucci off here to my left. Just really cute little lights and stuff happening down here. Let's let them do their shoot and I'll walk by. Over here we have Suit Supply and Chanel. On the other side of the street, we have a building that was actually, I think it's the only Frank Lloyd Wright building in all of San Francisco. And actually he based this off of the prototype for the Guggenheim in New York City, which is pretty cool. We have Fendi a little further down, Hermes, all kinds of stuff. When I was doing the research for this, I was reading about this place called Iron Horse, and it sounds super cool. Let's go find it. So this place, Iron Horse, I was reading, you can get coffee in the morning. They'll actually put booze in your coffee, which is kind of crazy. And then it turns into a bar in the evening. And I guess this used to be the place to go. So like Frank Sinatra hung out here. Marilyn Monroe had her engagement party here. So it sounded like it was like the super, super happening place. Maybe it still is, and I'm just not that happening. I kind of want to go in and check it out. Okay, maybe one of these days I'm gonna be a professional that like doesn't worry about people's privacy and taking photos of them, but I'm not there yet. I get a little shy like walking into places and trying to take videos because I don't know, San Francisco is a place where people are like fairly private, so I really have a tendency of trying to protect that and respect that. So anyway, hopefully that gave you a little glimpse into the bar. Super, super cute and quaint, and it is 4 o'clock, so I guess it's not too early to start drinking. Definitely not like morning time coffee time. So anyway, that was cute. All right, no shopping trip downtown is complete without a trip to the mall. And I will tell you, I don't really know what the name of the mall is. It used to be Westfield Mall, and then I think it was called the San Francisco Center, which is still on the front of the building. And then I read that it's called the Emporium, which I saw in the food court when I was there the other day. But anyway, the Westfield Mall, it's gone through some struggles. It's under new management, and there's been lots of talk and conversation about what's gonna happen to the mall. There's been ideas like turning it into a Legoland. I probably would have thought was cool like 10 years ago when my kids were younger. Also turning it into like low income housing. What else? A hockey and skating rink. There's been all kinds of ideas kicked around, but for now it's a mall, and I actually hope it stays that way. It is true that they lost about 50% of the tenants post-pandemic, but they've signed like 7 new leases this year, I heard. And they're kind of thinking through it in different ways. Some of the people who are leasing there now are like nonprofits, and they're supposed to be bringing in music in there at night. Like, I really, really want them all to stay. There's still some great shops there. Aritzia, which is one of my favorite, just like little staple, not super expensive stores. And Bloomingdale's is fantastic. Nordstrom, which occupied the whole top, unfortunately is no longer there. But let's pop in real quickly because it's on my way to somewhere else, and you can have a quick look. All right, we made it out of the mall. Let's walk over to Salesforce Tower, which I can see up ahead of me. And it's got this floating park, which is really cool. There's not a lot of parks down here. So I'm gonna show you the park and Also, I'm going to show you a few other things that we passed along the way. Okay, I don't know if you see the Salesforce Tower, which is that big phallic looking building sticking up. You really can't miss it. I'm going to take a real quick small detour here, actually. We'll show you something else like 1 block away. So we're walking by the AMC, which is a big theater down here. Okay, so walking right here, we are passing the Moscone Center, and this took under like a $500 million renovation project in 2001. If you've ever been to a tech conference in San Francisco, it probably happened there. It's a really, really big convention center, and so it brings in all kinds of companies, all kinds of conventions from all around the world. A little further down here, we're going to see the Creativity Museum. And the Creativity Museum is a place I used to spend a ton of time with my kids. It's actually part of Yerba Buena Gardens, and they've got this really cool carousel there. I think it's over 100 years old. Like, it's super beautiful to be like on a carousel right in the middle. Like, we are in the middle of the city. So it's just a very urban experience. There's a bowling alley there. There's an ice skating rink there. There's a playground with a really, really big slide, which is also fun. But the Creativity Museum, I don't know if it was just my kids, like they loved it. They have the Creativity Museum has all these robots that the kids can program and race, and then I don't know, they give them this like box of junk or something. They give them a contest with all the kids that are there on like coming up with like certain themes and stuff that they have to figure out. So that's pretty fun. I'll just walk you over here real quick. So check out this carousel. It's so cute. I guess it's not open today, but anyway, you've got the carousel there. Also, the SF MoMA is a few blocks from here, which is a really good art museum, and that's definitely something that you want to check out if you're downtown. But I've mentioned this before, I love this part of living in San Francisco, that there's just these like beautiful art projects kind of all over the city, where you just drive by and you see like all these really cool splashes of color. So I just love this. I don't know if it's just me, but I love to be in an urban place and see like art. It's just so beautiful. And I think this is also really inspiring for kids to see these kind of art installations. All right, I got off my path there for a minute, but I'm gonna head back over to Salesforce Tower and get back on track. So as I'm walking over to Salesforce Tower, I'll just talk to you about a couple other things about the neighborhood. So the neighborhood is really walkable. I would say it's probably one of the most walkable neighborhoods in all of San Francisco. Also, like, the weather is always good here, and that is so not true of many neighborhoods. I kind of wish I wouldn't have worn this jacket, but I don't have anywhere to put it. So walkability is great, but I will say that sometimes you want to be able to get in a car, and one of the downsides to living down here is that the traffic it's a lot of traffic, right? There's a lot of cars. I took a Waymo down here. I'm gonna take a Waymo out of here. Like, I don't want to drive in this. So that's a downside, is that you may have a car, you may have a parking spot, but you actually don't want to get in your car. Definitely not during commute hours. But there is a lot of public transportation down here as well. So, you know, ideally, if you're living down here, you're working down here, you're either jumping on a train, going to work, or walking to work. Some people that live down here, they do want to have really easy access to the 280. There's also a Cal train here that'll go down. You know, if you have a tech job down in the peninsula, it'll take you down there really easily. But getting on the freeways, again, like ideally not during commute times, which down here I feel like starts at like 2 or 3 o'clock. in the afternoon. So I mentioned SF MoMA earlier, right in front of me, just past, I don't know if you can see the W Hotel. That's one side of it. And then over here, it's this beautiful brick building. The building in front of us with the like kind of the skeleton on the outside, the structural support on the outside, that's 181 Fremont. And then you can see the Salesforce Tower next to it. 181 Fremont has some of the most luxury condos in the city, ranging anywhere from about $3 million all the way up to about $40 million. Really, really high-end concierge service in there. It's a just epic, epic, epic views. Instagram is in the lower part of the building. I think they're still there. And then the residential part is just the top few floors. So the views are just, oh my gosh, you guys, they are to die for. We have a video on that if you want to check it out. Here's another one, Roy's. I haven't been there. I forgot about it. That's the thing with San Francisco, is there's so many restaurants. It's like, it's hard to go to any place like twice. You just forget all the restaurants. Oh, this is the Millennium Tower. But oh, sorry, Roy's. Really, really good restaurant. It's like Hawaiian, but high end. I had this amazing lobster there one time. This is the Millennium Tower. Nicknamed, I guess, not so fondly probably for a lot of the people who are there. But it's the Sinking Tower. You've probably heard of it. And then over here, you actually can see, that's where we're going, you guys. That's the floating Utopia Park. But anyway, Millennium, it's a great building. I understand that there's a fix. I haven't looked into it lately because I haven't had a client interested in it. For a while, you could only buy there for cash. But it was the first like really premier building in San Francisco, like really known for its very, very high-end concierge. And then some other buildings, you know, like 181 Fremont, the Four Seasons residence, they've opened up since. And so I think they've given it a little bit of a run for their money, especially, sorry, I get really distracted by all these towers. I like love towers. So I'm just like, oh, which tower am I walking by? I love towers. They make me feel like anything can happen. So even though I don't live down here, I probably wouldn't live down here, but I did live in Singapore and I loved high-rise living. So anyway, we are almost there. And the other thing I will tell you is that the blocks downtown are much longer than they look on the map. And I always forget that. So when I planned this tour, I under anticipated the distance from the mall to here. Now, I walk all the time and I love to walk, but I just thought it was a much shorter walk when I looked at it on the map. Arrived, you guys. This is our big, tall building. My goodness, it's so big. So there's a few other companies here as well. I wanted to show you guys this floor. Look how pretty it is, you guys. Now, don't be fooled by the space behind me. If you're looking for copious areas of green space, downtown may not be the right place for you. It feels a little bit like a concrete jungle down here, and though San Francisco has a ton of parks, a ton, this area isn't the area known for that, but you do have this park here, which is amazing. I'm gonna walk you around. Also, you have the Embarcadero, which I'll show you a little bit later, and that's the waterfront. I mean, it's still concrete, but it feels like nature as much as concrete mixed with water can. But if you're looking for parks, we've got lots of them. They're just not a ton in this spot. Speaking of California Street, they actually just announced that they're going to turn Front Street into like a big entertainment zone where there's going to be parties, and I guess like drinking in the street is going to be allowed, although I don't think anybody ever had any problems drinking in the streets of San Francisco so far as I've noticed. I feel like there's like street parties happening all of the time, but I do think that those kinds of things will help to revitalize and inspire some fun and bring some people back into downtown. So let's go back to FIDI for a minute. A lot of people think about the recent tech layoffs, and there is a 32% vacancy rate in these buildings down here. But on the bright side, those layoffs did a couple of things. One, it freed up some of the brightest minds that there are. Like, even though a lot of people might think that if you got laid off, you weren't good at your job, that is just not true. A lot of these companies just they didn't use a scalpel, they just cut. They cut like whole projects. And really smart people who had kind of golden handcuffs at these companies were all released out into the wild all at one time. So I think I know I'm hearing about a lot of startups and different things like that. And with the cost of offices being so low, for a long time you had to be a really big name to be down here. But now, some of these spaces that are vacant, they're on sale. And so, and some of them are fully decked out already. And so getting in here for a younger company that's not like one of the big five, there's no better time to do that. So I'm really excited about that. So living close to downtown is definitely something that you want to do if you work in tech or finance. But I will say that most people don't actually live in downtown. A lot of the buildings in downtown are a little older and, just not as new and shiny and nice. So a lot of the people live in areas that are like in close proximity to downtown. But if you did want to live in downtown, you do have some options, and some of them are beautiful. So you can find like a studio for as low as probably about $500,000, $600,000, like small, very small. And then a one bedroom, the average one bedroom is going to be around $950. Sometimes you can get a 2-bedroom in there. So this is a 2-bedroom, 1-bath condo with really nice updates. I really like these hardwood floors. Also, there's a new kitchen and bathroom. It looks like they've done a really nice job of keeping some of the original details and the character of the older building, while still doing some really nice updates. Looks like they also have an in-unit washer and dryer here. That would be a must for me. And, right outside of these windows, I see some really nice greenery. So I think that's great. As I was walking around earlier, I mentioned to you some of the really fancy high-priced buildings like 181 Fremont or the Four Seasons residence. But there are some newer buildings down here. And I wanted to make sure that you know a little bit about the pricing of those. So buildings like the Avery, the Lumina, you're typically looking at starting out around $2 million and going up to 3, 4. I mean, some on really higher floors that are bigger can go much higher than that. But here's an example of one that we sold last year in the Lumina, and it had bridge views. The Lumina was built just under 10 years ago. And so really nice level of finishes, like very clean and modern. That's what most of these new construction buildings look like. But really, really nice floor to ceiling glass. And then the building also has a ton of amenities. So there's 24-hour concierge. There's also like a pool. There's a fitness center. There's a ton going on in there. And that's what you're going to see in a lot of these different kinds of buildings. So in general, that's kind of a budget, like $2 to $3 million is a good budget for a lot of these buildings. If you're willing to go into something older, I was just looking at prices in Rincon Hill the other day, and wow, they are on sale. I was evaluating a property for a client, and it looked like they bought it when it was brand new. And I think it was worth about what they paid for it. And that building went on sale in 2014. So, and it was like on like that building. So it's built on a hill. So it's like the ground floor is like starting on the 40th floor of another building. And it goes all the way up to, I don't know, like 50 floors or something like that. And when you get on the 50th floor, I kid you not, whatever are the high floors, when you get on those floors, I kid you not, my stomach like fully drops. I'm like tiny bit scared of heights, and it is high. And so the views are just like really, really epic. So if you're willing to buy something a little bit older that needs some updates. The building looks updated. That's one to look at, but it is like right on the freeway, which is a conversation for another day. So many of these buildings are full of young professionals, often tech, finance, that sort of thing. But there's also like a fair amount of like overseas buyers where they're buying their second, third, fourth home. It's nice to buy something in a building where it's nicely managed. You don't have to worry about the roof. Also, in some of the nicer buildings, they'll stock your fridge for you when you're showing up. And then we also see a fair amount of like pied-à-terre buyers. So somebody who's like in their mid 50s or 60s and their kids have went off to college and they live in, say, like Woodside or someplace close to San Francisco but not in San Francisco, and they want to have kind of a crash pad to go to the city and hang out and feel young again. So we definitely see a lot of that as well. All right, let's jump into a Waymo and head down to the Google offices and see what a tech company is like. And from there, we're going to go down to the water and I'll just show you a little bit of the Embarcadero as well. All right, we are in the Waymo and turning onto the Embarcadero. It's the driverless car. And I'm sitting back here, sitting pretty in a nice, clean car. I'm super happy about that. And, passing the Bay Bridge. Oh, you can't really see it. All right, so we are going to be arriving at Google. So let's see what's going on in that office. And there goes my driverless car. Okay, let's go see what's going on in here. All right, I have a special treat for you. I'm standing outside of Google. We're going to pop in and we're going to see what it's like in there. I'll tell you, when we have, my husband is going to give us a tour. When we have out-of-town guests, a lot of times people like to come here. My kids love to come here. I don't know why they don't love my little Victorian office that's like barely updated compared to what we're going to see in here. Their offices are epic with like, secret hidden bars and like arcades and sleeping rooms and yoga rooms and so many snack bars, like more snack bars than I could. These people, I'm telling you. So tons of really cool creative spaces, like every single hallway, elevator shaft, like has a different theme. And like, I swear Google, like they must hire some of the best designers in the whole world. And they really have some of the best real estate. So anyway, I'm guessing, I haven't been in a lot of tech companies, but I'm guessing a lot of the tech companies kind of look like this. I'm sure Google has some of the better offices, but anyway, I'm sure like Facebook, like LinkedIn, like all of these places, they probably look similar. So if you haven't been in one and you're thinking about moving out here for tech, I thought this could be a good little bonus for you. So let's go in and take a look. I will forewarn you that I have a feeling, Google's very, very private. So we're probably not going to be able to film in a lot of the areas that I want to film in, but at least we'll see a few things. And, we don't want to disturb anyone while they're working. So I'm going to do my best. Okay. We are at One Market Plaza and I'm going to go in and check out this Google office. Here we go. What's all this stuff? Just stuff to try to make you guys look interesting. Infamous snack bars. What kind of snacks can I get? All right, let's check out the cafeteria. It's not lunchtime, so we missed lunch. But I can go get a coffee from the barista bar. And then there's a full kitchen over here. I guess I should have come an hour sooner so I could get some lunch. So I'm leaving the cafeteria to the pizza cafeteria. Is that what's happening? Yeah, pizza. Not a bad view. Okay, if you don't work at one of those tech companies that's gonna give you a fancy lunch and snack bars every day, don't worry, me neither. We can commiserate there. But there's tons of great dining options in and around FiDi. Some of my favorite ones are gonna be right here on the water. You've got Angler, Epic, Water Bar, Croquetta that all line the water, and then you're gonna get not only really, really good food, but also really, really good views. And check out this weather today, you guys. This is amazing. So one of the downsides to this area of town is that it gets pretty sleepy here after about 7. There's a lot of people that walk to work, go to work, and come home. But I would say that if they're going out for a night on the town, they're probably going out in a different area of town. So I'm curious, after hearing all of this, what's your verdict on downtown? I think it's gonna come back sooner rather than later, and it's a great time still to get a really good deal here. We're seeing prices sometimes around 2014, 2015, 2016, sometimes 2017 prices. So it's almost like you bought 10 years sooner. So if you think you might want to learn more about living downtown, feel free to reach out to us. We've helped over 1,000 families move to or within San Francisco. You can text us at the number on the screen or reach out to us at hello@ruthkrishnan.com. And if you want to learn more about living here from somebody who actually lived in the neighborhood for many years, check out this video right here.